It's basically a tonal not on your wall, which is what so many people want. The only thing that stays consistent is the grind. Keep on grinding. So I woke up this morning and it finally happened. I was just being dramatic. This actually happens all the time. Well, not all the time, but enough to the point where it's really, really sad and depressing. If any of you guys know how to use this machine without needing an internet connection, please let me know, because it is really irritating when the internet suddenly goes out and then I can't exercise on my machine. But of course, that's why I told you guys that I bought the Handy Gym, because when the internet goes out, at least you can still work out, you can bodybuild up to 220 pounds from home, no matter where you are, with this amazing little machine. And you're not getting resistance like resistance bands and stuff like that, that fake resistance that really doesn't make you feel accomplished. You're getting a real solid gym quality workout from home. And the only thing you gotta deal with is a little bit of whirring, because the noise is just a little bit, well, worrisome. But this video is not about the Handy Gym, despite the fact that I can talk about the Handy Gym all day, because truly it's helped me to revolutionize my training. Bodybuilding from anywhere in the world, no matter when you want, is an incredible, incredible thing. Zero footprint, zero subscriptions, but I'll save that for another Handy Gym video. Today what I'd like to talk about is the Speediance. Now, I've been asked to do reviews on the Speediance for quite some time. Time that this video is being put out, the Speediance actually does not currently exist as far as being on the market for any real person like myself to try. I've actually looked in the past for testing areas to see if I can use the machine, you know, to check it out, see what it's like. Just like Tonal has testing centers, so you can go to a mall, you can try it out, and you can see whether or not you like it before you go spending over $3,000. Speediance is a Kickstarter project. I don't believe it has any testing centers. I could be wrong, but last I checked, it does not. So I get asked a lot to do this review, but keep in mind, I don't own the machine. Okay, I don't own the machine. I've done reviews in the past on many, many machines that many, 99.9% of you guys love and ask me to do. Just like this one, you're asking me to do it, but I don't own the machine, okay? So I'm gonna try to make this as simple as possible as far as what I can see regarding the Speediance when compared to the Tonal, to give you guys the best idea on what you can all expect and whether or not you should go with the Speediance or the Tonal. So let's talk about the pros that I see regarding Speediance. The cost is what it is. It's over $3 grand, but there's no subscriptions. Another thing that I love is the fact that you don't have to pay to have this thing installed. You can install it yourself. You get it shipped to your house and you install it yourself. You put it together yourself. That is something that many, many people love and want. It's also not causing damage to your walls. Not only is it not causing damage to your walls, but you can move it around your place very easily on wheels. Well, very easily is, you know, we'll have to see when it actually comes out, but it looks easy enough. You know, I've owned big treadmills in the past, and even with those monster treadmills, you can kick it up on its side onto its wheels and roll it around, moving it to wherever you want, whenever you want. So redecorating is not a problem. Moving it to different locations is much, much easier. You don't have to call and have a company remove this from the wall for you. Pay somebody to do it. You can do it yourself if you are capable physically of doing it. Another thing that I love about it is the fact that it has two separate motors, so you can do movements like skiing if that's something you're into. Personally, I'm not, but I think that's cool. You can do skiing. You can pick up a rowing seat from the company and attach it to this machine. You can row with it, ski with it. You can do whatever you want. You're basically getting, I've heard many people refer to the Speediance as a Chinese version of the Tonal. The Tonal is made in the United States, California, last I checked, right? Now, this machine, the Speediance, from what I gather, it's made in China, which, you know, most of our stuff here in the US is made in China. So as far as durability goes, we don't know how it's going to handle. We don't know how it's going to hold up. We don't know how durable it is. Do we know if the company's solid? I don't know. I've recently checked their Kickstarter page. You have a lot of people complaining that they haven't heard responses from the company. So these are some of the downsides. It's less established, I think, than Tonal, but it's new. It's a new company. You know, I've purchased Kickstarter stuff before, and it's never really smooth when it comes to Kickstarter. Does that mean that the product itself will not come to fruition and make its way to your doorstep? No, it does not mean that. It just means that it might take some time. I would feel probably a little more comfortable if it was made in the United States as far as durability goes. It just feels closer to home, and it feels like if you have a problem with the company, it's closer to home. You can deal with that problem just a little bit better. Whether that's true or not, I'm not really sure. Nobody really knows how it's going to hold up because nobody has it yet. There's nobody who's purchased this machine that has actually had it. And that's another thing that kind of is a little bit scary, because not scary necessarily, because I'm sure you'll get your stuff. I do feel confident in that, but you know, originally, I remember they said they wanted to roll it out in the beginning of March, and then now, you know, it's April, and it's still not rolled out. Last I checked, they pushed it to mid-April, when at one point they were saying the beginning of April. So it's a whole bunch of back and forth kind of stuff, but this is normal. This is expected, especially with a Kickstarter project, okay? Now, I've told you guys in the past, a really awesome machine that I personally would have loved to see come to the market was the Studio Lift. Now, the Studio Lift is the weighted version of the Studio Gym, which is basically like a mirror knockoff, if you guys are familiar with the mirror. That machine, they promised that 2 years ago. Still not on the market. So there have been people who have purchased that machine, and it's not come to the market yet. So I don't know what to say as far as that goes. That's something I would have loved to see. I was very excited to see that. Honestly, I think it looks really cool. I think it had a lot to offer. That was another machine that you had an option to not install on the wall, which I thought was pretty great. But that's neither here nor there, because it's not on the market, and it probably won't be coming on the market. I told you guys when you said you were going to wait for that machine, I said, listen, you might be waiting a while because it doesn't exist yet. And people are still waiting for it. Okay, so until that first one comes out, you know, it's been 2 years. Are you prepared to wait for the Speediance if it doesn't come out? Now, you're saving a ton of money on your membership, okay? But something I want to, you know, the Speediance might come out this month. So if it does, then what I'm saying doesn't matter at this point. But just in case it doesn't, you're paying for the gym, unless you have something amazing like the Handy Gym you can use at home. You're paying for a gym membership and dealing with that gym membership until you get your home gym, your Speediance. You purchase a Tonal. You could wait out that year, cancel the subscription, have your Tonal, you could have had it the whole time. By the time maybe you get your Expedience. But we don't know, because maybe it'll come out soon. I'm not sure. Nobody knows. And so the whole time you would have been paying for a gym membership. You're kind of making up for the fact, in a way, depending on how expensive your gym membership is, that, you know, you're making up for the fact that to pay for a Tonal subscription. So it's kind of balancing out at that point. If the Speediance isn't coming out anytime soon, you're stuck paying money anyway. Whereas you could have had your Tonal already, very likely, pay the membership, the mandatory yearly membership, and then cancel that membership. Now, something great about Speediance is there's no membership unless they change this, which I'm sure they will in the future. Just like Max Pro, the infamous Max Pro that I very much dislike. That machine, that company, from what I've been told by its users, their users have reached out to me and said, Joe, they changed up the subscription process. They changed it so now if you have an old Max Pro machine, it doesn't work with the new subscription, or you have to upgrade. There was some shady stuff going on. I don't recall the exact information what it was, because I don't own one or use one daily. Keep in mind, very likely, if you purchased one on the Kickstarter rollout, you'll probably have free subscriptions for life, like they said, more than likely, right? They also said on the Kickstarter page that if a new machine comes out, so they're already looking towards the future, if a newer machine comes out, you can have a free subscription for that too, which is fantastic. You don't have to pay subscriptions if they hold to their word. But very likely that's not going to be for everybody for all the time. At some point, they're probably going to throw a subscription in there, because that's how these companies really make their money. their subscription, their mandatory subscription. Right now, you don't need one, okay? So they're giving you the trainers, the classes, and all that stuff, which is pretty cool. And you're getting a Tonal, but a portable version of Tonal. Portable, you don't have to install it on your wall, which is amazing. It does take up more room, okay? You have the platform that drops down. So in my circumstance, that wouldn't be ideal. Is it doable? Yes, it's definitely doable. It's smaller than the EgoFit, so that's great if you need a space-saving option. This is basically a Tonal, because it looks almost exactly like a Tonal if Tonal had legs. It's basically a Tonal, not on your wall, which is what so many people want. So Speediance is doing it. Speediance is doing it. As far as durability goes, nobody knows. As far as when it's going to be shipped, nobody really knows. As far as whether it'll hold up to the task as good as the Tonal, nobody knows. But it's going to be, on paper, everything that Tonal is and more. Because it has the 2 motors that you can do rowing with, you can do the skiing with, if you're into that stuff. Those items, along with the foot plate that this machine, the Speediance, has, are going to take up more room than the Tonal. It does not look as pretty, which may or may not matter to you. When I am entertaining guests, since I have a small place, this thing, people don't even know it exists. It looks like art. But if you have a Speediance, you're going to know it exists. You're going to know it's a gym, and it might look cool, and you might be able to get away with it being low, footprint, relatively low footprint while it's away. You're going to know it's a gym. It's not going to look that pretty, and when you have to drop that foot plate, you're going to know it's a gym. It's going to take up more room. It's not as good in terms of footprint. But if you have more space than me, or if you don't care, then that's no problem. You could even roll it in and out of a corner to bring it to the center of your room, as long as you don't have carpets. If you have carpets, keep in mind that might be an issue, because this machine is on wheels, and wheels and carpets don't really work all the time, okay? So keep that in mind. You can roll it into the middle of the room, and you can go ahead and use it, and you can get your workout in. And it seems, in theory, like a great product. I love the fact that you don't have to pay to have it installed, uninstalled, moved. I love it. I think it's fantastic, and it's giving you more than Tonal is, especially when you don't have to pay for that subscription. Because when you drop the subscription for Tonal, which I've done, which, I personally get along just fine without the subscription. In the beginning, I was very much afraid because I was spoiled rotten. But at the end of the day, I'm very, very happy with this machine without the subscription. Very, very happy. I'm not getting the trainers, nothing like that, but I'm very happy with it. If you're like me, you'll be very happy with it too. But Speediance, you're getting the trainers, you're getting the programs, you're getting all that stuff, and you don't have to pay for a subscription for that yet, when your machine finally comes. So keep that in mind. These are all great things about Speediance. Whether it's going to hold up to the task of exercise, that's another story. I can work out with the Tonal from across the room. From across the room. With Speediance, I don't think you can do that. And the reason why is because I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe you probably have to stand on the foot plate for 99% of the exercises. I believe. Especially if you're doing an exercise that's coming from the top of the machine. So you have the arms up here, you have the handles up here, you have to pull. I think you have to be standing on that foot plate. I could be wrong. It's likely pretty heavy, so maybe you don't have to, but I do believe that you probably have to be standing on it, at least according probably to the manufacturer's instructions, okay? So this machine, I don't have to stand on it. It's hooked into the studs. As long as it's hooked in properly, it's solid as the house that it's in, and you don't have to worry about that. Zero footprint. If I could go back, what would I do? Personally, I would say I'd stick to the Tonal, because now that I own one, now that I've used it, and I know that it is more than capable without the subscription to build muscle, to be functional, low profile, beautiful, all that stuff, Knowing what I know now, if I could go back, I'd still get this because I want it without the subscription. Originally, if they gave me an option to buy this without the subscription, I would have. But again, that's where the companies are making their real money. The subscriptions, okay? They want to rope you into a subscription plan. And Tonal's forcing you into it for the first year. So, Speediance isn't. Keep that in mind. We don't know how long Tonal's going to be around as far as the company goes. We don't know how long Speediance is going to be around. We don't know. I don't know who's backing Speediance. I mean, regardless of who's backing them, you never know what's going to happen with the company. It's a brand new company. Tonal was around for a few years before I purchased it. Okay? There was nobody talking about it. It wasn't famous, honestly. It didn't start to get notoriety until I put it out on my YouTube channel and there was actually a decent review on it. And at that point, people started to say, wow, this thing exists, this thing's real, a normal person's using it. And that's when it really started to pick up steam. And you know, I'm not just saying that. I have the messages in my inbox to prove it. Just look at the channel. You'll see from the very beginning that this channel started, people started to take interest into this machine. So at the end of the day, Speediance hasn't been around. So you don't know the longevity of the company. They don't have any type of a name to back them, as far as I can see. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But you don't have any type of name. And Tonal, although the name is still light when it comes to the game, the overall fitness world, it's still heavier than Speediance. I would purchase a Tonal. I would pay the year that they're forcing you to pay. And after that year, I would cancel it because by that time, you don't need the trainers anymore unless you just want the trainers. You don't need them, okay? I never needed them, but you might need them. So if you need them, in a year, after using this machine for a year, if you don't know how to use this machine and know the moves and know all that stuff that you need to know in order to build a program for yourself, you're doing something wrong. You're doing something wrong. I actually just had somebody hit me up on my inbox on Instagram the other day and say, Joe, I only use 3 programs on Tonal. I'm sick and tired of it. Is there anything you can point me to as far as programs? I sent them over to my playlist section on the channel. I have a couple of routines that I have in there for you guys to take a look at. That's something you want to do. And I also let them know that if you guys want to pick my brain, feel free. In the link in the description of every video starting, you know, I think 1 video ago, I have a link that you guys can click on. You can schedule some time with me. Reach out to me. I get so many messages on my inbox and on YouTube that it's hard to keep up. So I created this platform for you guys. If you have any questions that I can't answer right away on YouTube, or you want to pick my brain as to my bodybuilding journey, what might work with you, if you want me to help you to build a plan, we can schedule time together in order to do that, okay? So there's a link in the description. But at the end of the day, if you guys don't know how to use this machine by the end of a year, and you can't comfortably cancel that subscription, there's something wrong. Trainers are not meant to be used forever. They're supposed to help you until you become your own trainer. And it's something I've been saying for a long time. If you don't know what you're doing, you shouldn't buy this, regardless of the fact that they're giving you trainers. Because these trainers will not teach you everything you need to know. Because if they did, they would be out of a job. So keep that in mind. You need to do your due diligence. You have to get on the internet, learn about your body, learn about routines, what's best for this, what's best for that. Honestly, the programs I've seen on this, while capable, they are a roundabout way to your fitness goals. If you know your goals, just like I knew my goals, I didn't need the trainers. I had the subscription for all that time, never used it. Never used it. If you know your goals, that's the best thing you can do for yourself, because now you can create your own program to suit your goals in order to fast track your progress. Fast track. Okay? So again, if you guys need help with that, feel free to reach out to me. As far as Speediance goes, I think it's fantastic. I love the idea on paper. Until we see it in person, that's another story. But it looks fantastic. It's going to come down to you. Do you want to have a company that is less known than Tonal? Do you want a machine that's movable? Or is the no subscription option that Speediance offers you, no pay for subscription option, is it worth it to have for you? Do you care about the subscription? What about floor plan in your place? Do you need to save every bit of room that you can? Can you physically wheel around a Speediance? These are the things you got to think about. But as far as the machine itself, it looks, on the outside looking in, solid. It looks solid. I mean, from what I can tell, we won't know until we actually see it come out. But I don't believe it's going to be an issue when it finally does come out. So hopefully it comes out this month. Hopefully. Hopefully they don't push it more like they've already done. And hopefully everybody who wants to get their machine gets it. And hopefully it's amazing. Remember, the biggest thing for me was the footprint. This is no footprint. Speediance will be a footprint. The bench, the rowing deck, all that stuff, the more stuff you have, the more room it's going to take up. So for me, that would not be ideal. I mean, I don't row anyway. But even if I did, if I did, it wouldn't be ideal for me. It's going to come down to where you live. Also, how clean do you want it to look? This looks clean. This is like having a gorgeous iPad on your wall. And I love it. I would never trade what it looks like for what the Speediance is offering as far as look. But that's minor to many people. And do you care about the subscription costs associated with Tonal? No subscription costs at the time of this video associated with the Speediance, okay? So hope this was able to give you guys some idea on what you're looking at. Be safe, talk soon. Catch you guys at the next video.